Hi, my name is Darryl Veligal. I'm a professor of chemical engineering at Penn State University, and today we'll be discussing an acronym, C.E.N.T.E.R, which I use with many of my students and the professionals here at Penn State. A number of years ago, my friend Sebastian, who was in a PhD lab with me, came to me and said, "Darryl, I'm thinking of changing careers." And I said, "To what?" And he said, "I want to sing opera." Now, there are many things you can do with a chemical engineering degree, but singing opera is typically not one of them. And I didn't quite understand where he was going with it until one day. He started telling me about Puccini's opera Tosca, and he started telling me about Floria Tosca and the Baron Scarpia, and then he told me about the end of Act 1 when Scarpia sings the famous aria, Va Tosca. And as he goes through it, he gets to the end of it and he says, "Tosca, you make me forget God." And as he's describing it, I'm sitting there mesmerized, almost breathless. And I came to realize something about my friend Sebastian. Opera wasn't just something he was going to do with his life. Opera was who he was. It was part of his character. Now, I still had many questions about how was he going to learn to sing opera, and how was he going to pay the bills during this time, and what if things didn't work out? But I think he had some answers to these. And as I've worked with students over many years, many students and professionals have the same questions. How am I going to succeed at my job? How am I going to work in the community? How am I going to balance family with work? There are a number of villains that crop up when they're speaking, and three of them are these. The first is fear. You have a fear of, am I going to get the job? Am I going to lose the job? Am I going to keep my relationships? The second is a lack of focus. People want to do oftentimes 1,000 things, but they're afraid to do one or two things really well where they're held accountable for them. And a third one is that they're afraid to try an experiment. They're so bound up either in doubts or overconfidence that they're afraid to run the experiments that will enable them to move forward. And as I'm working with my students on these, we often go through this acronym, C.E.N.T.E.R. Now, in going through C.E.N.T.E.R, I want to look at a number of statements or questions that we might use in order to establish how does C.E.N.T.E.R apply to what you want to do. And as I go through these, I will say things like I am blank and I will be blank. And these blanks are the items you need to fill in as you're going through. So the first letter is C, which stands for character. I am a professor of chemical engineering. I will be the best teacher I can be. The E is for entrepreneurship. I take smart risks and run smart experiments toward my dream of blank, toward my dream of starting a business, toward my dream of having a great family. The next letter is N, which stands for ownership. Ownership is I choose blank. I choose to have a healthy body. I choose to get enough sleep each night. I choose to stay within my budget. The next letter is tenacity, the T. And this says I will hold on in my pursuit of blank amidst all difficulties. I will hang on in my pursuit of starting my business. I will hang on in my pursuit of changing my dinner hour. The next D is for excellence. I will commit and focus hard work toward gaining skill in learning differential equations, in learning how to do pottery. And the final letter is R, which stands for relationship. A relationship is about my family is my girls and my wife. My home is State College, Pennsylvania, and Penn State. Who is your family and where is your home? And as you go through these letters and practice them, you will start to understand what your passions are and what your purposes are so that you can go make change in your area of the world. My friend Sebastian used these same principles as he was establishing his new life. And if you want to read more about that, you can take a look in my book. But now it's your turn. How will you go through each of these blanks and take an hour perhaps to fill in each of these pieces and start on your way to changing your corner of the world? Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.